Yo, that UFC 200 card is stacked. That I literally can't wait for that baby. But anyway, not here to talk about that. I'll probably do a separate video on the before UFC 200 on the event itself, like a preview type thing, predictions and all that. But yeah, CM Punk is finally gonna actually make his UFC debut. I'm not gonna lie, for a while there I was questioning whether it was even gonna happen because of all the injuries, surgery and that pushed it back. But yeah, Punk's scheduled to fight Mickey Gall September something, UFC 203. And the more I've been thinking about this, the more I'm absolutely convinced that CM Punk is not only going to lose, which, I mean, smart. I mean, I'm not a betting man, but I would be confident in putting in a nice sum on Punk losing. But not only he's going to lose, he's going to get completely wrecked and embarrassed. Mickey Gall, first of all, Mickey Gall's 24. Young fighter. Hungry fighter. This guy says he's been training for this fight as if he's coming in to face a champion. And he's facing CM Punk. A guy with no... I know he's good with his BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he's got no octagon experience at all, obviously, because this is his first fight. And he's no Brock Lesnar. He's not going to recreate what Lesnar did. Speaking of Lesnar, I'll just throw this in there as well, because he's a WWE guy, and I'll talk about him and Mark Hunt. The more I've been thinking about that as well, the more I've been thinking Lesnar is getting knocked out. I don't see a way. Because Lesnar... The only way Lesnar can win, in my eyes, is if they're able to literally smother Mark Hunt. And the thing is, Mark Hunt is good at snuffing those takedown attempts. And Lesnar's coming... And the thing is, Lesnar's coming off a long layoff. 2011 was the last time he fought. I know this time he hasn't got any disease to hold him back, but the layoff may even it out. And Lesnar isn't a technically skilled fighter. He uses his size, athleticism, to wear down and beat opponents. And he's just raw power. But he's not technically a skilled fighter. Mark Hunt ain't like perfectly sound, but he's got those concrete fists. And honestly, I see Lesnar getting knocked out. I see Punk getting knocked out. He could get submitted. I mean, the only way Punk can win against Mickey Gall is if somehow he gets into the ground. We don't know what his takedowns are like. Well, that's the thing about Punk. It's the unknown. We don't know enough about... I mean, I've seen footage of him sparring, and let's just say his stand-up game don't look too good. So, he needs to get Mickey Gall to the ground somehow. But at the same time, Mickey Gall, his BJJ is pretty solid. Like, Punk would have to submit him. The only way I can see Punk winning is if he submits him somehow. And it is a fight. It is the most unpredictable thing. So it's possible. But I just don't see it happening. I really don't. I see Gall submitting Punk, or just knocking Punk out. Mickey Gall even made a prediction. He was like, yeah, I'm going to stop it in the first round. I was like, yeah, you probably will. So if you're a CM Punk fan, I will say, don't watch the fight. You're probably going to be in for a really rough night that night, September. Fingers crossed that it all goes ahead and no more injuries or anything happens between now and then. But yeah, I really don't see Punk winning in any way, shape or form. And the more I think about it, I think Brock's in the same boat. I don't see him winning. I've got a lot of respect for Brock Lesnar because of what he did in the UFC before. Even though, like I said, he was not the most gifted technical fighter. He was battling diverticulitis last time. He's not this time. But he hasn't been in an octagon for nearly 5 years. I don't think he has much chance. I mean, he's a heavy underdog. I don't think he has as much chance to win. I mean, the best for both Brock... I mean, they're in similar circumstances for me. That's why I'm lumping them into this one video together. Even though they're on different cards. It's similar circumstances. They both need the fight to go to the ground. And for me, Punk needs to go for a submission. Straight up, Punk needs to go for a submission. If Punk lasts the full length of the fight, I think that should be a feather in the cap of Punk that he managed to do that. Because I really don't see many people predicting Punk to win. So, you both need to take the fight to the ground. Brock, smother the guy. Like, wear him out on the ground. Bit of ground and pound, but more to wear him out, because you wear him out, some of that power's gonna go. Even though Brock really does not have a great chin. I know people are saying Brock doesn't like to get hit, and he doesn't. I mean, no one likes to get hit, but I mean, watch the way Brock covers up in his fight against, who was it? I think it was Shane Carwin. Was it Shane Carwin, the fight where he was getting absolutely destroyed in the first round? And you can argue that the referee should have stopped it. It was getting that bad. And he came in the second round and choked him out. I think it was Shane Carwin. Well, in that fight, look how Brock covered up and cowered when Shane Carwin was hitting. Like, he was taking the punches, like, and he was scared. And that's not a good sign. Obviously, a lot has happened since then. He won that fight. Some say he shouldn't have, because he should have been stopped in the first round. I can see where they're coming from. I see both sides. But I'm all for letting the guy carry on fighting as long as he's not in, like, serious harm. So I agree with the referee's decision in that. But yeah, it's an interesting situation these two guys are in. Another thing I want to bring up with these two both is future. Both have a question about their future. Where do both CM Punk and Brock Lesnar go after this? Now, I know Punk has said on multiple occasions that this isn't a one and done deal. He wants to have a long career, UFC, blah, 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 blah. When he gets wrecked and embarrassed, I don't see Punk's career lasting very long. And remember, this guy's 37 years old. Getting into the sport at 37 years old. First of all, I've got respect for him for having the balls to do it. I was at any age getting into the octagon is you got to be very brave. You got to have some big balls to do it. But doing it at 37, I know Brock's coming back and he's 38 or 39, one of them. But he's had some experience in the octagon. He was freaking UFC champion. And he's a freak of nature physically. CM Punk is not. He's got no experience grappling. Like, Punk, I see having a very short career in the UFC. I'm not saying he only have one fight. He might have 3, maybe. But I see him switching over to commentary, backstage interviews, that type of thing, working for UFC in another capacity, because he's a good talker. One thing we learned from his stint in WWE, he's a good talker. So I reckon he'll transition into another role in the UFC. Quick, sooner rather than later, for the record. And Lesnar is another interesting future for him. Like, he's still on the contract with WWE, but he even said in an interview himself, if this goes well for him, which first of all, let me just say, I give Lesnar a much better chance of winning his fight than Punk. Like, Lesnar, I'm not convinced he's going to lose. I'm just leaning towards him losing. Punk, I'm absolutely 100% convinced he's going to lose. But say Lesnar pulls out the win. What then? Even he said in the interview, he was like, if I win this, I don't know what happens next. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So, he might ask Vince to, for regular fights. Well, not regular fights, for at least a couple more fights. Even though WWE is saying, no, it's a one-off thing. Well, if Lesnar says he wants to go, what can you really do? I mean, I know he's still under contract, but he's not going to be under contract forever. I don't know how long he's got left, but that's the thing. If Lesnar wins, I see him wanting to fight more. Honestly, I do. If he gets wrecked, that probably will be it. Like, he would have got his confirmation, sort of. I feel like he's going back for confirmation. I know he wants to redeem wins that he feels he lost because of diverticulitis, but he wants confirmation. So if he loses, that might be it, and he's legit done. But if he wins, let's just say Vince McMahon's he's going to be doing a lot of negotiating with Vince and Dana. Most probably. But we'll see.